So you're thinking about moving to St. Augustine, Florida, and you kind of want to know, what is it like to live in St. Augustine? Why would I want to move there versus maybe some other areas like Jacksonville or Palm Coast or maybe Orlando, some of the surrounding areas? Well, in this video, we get that question asked a lot. So in this video, we are going to go through all the good, the bad, the ugly about living in St. Augustine. And so by that way, giving you all that information up front gives you the opportunity to kind of make your decision on, hey, do I want to be here or not? So that when you do decide to come in town, we can really focus and hone in on, what properties and what area, specific area of St. Augustine you want to do and you want to be in. So again, we thought, we get this question all the time. We thought it would be best to just shoot a quick video. That way you guys can make up your mind before you ever get here. And we'll start and go through the good, the bad, the ugly, getting after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in St. Augustine, Florida, then do me a favor, click on subscribe, tap the bell for notifications so that you will be the first to know anything and everything that happens here in the market in St. Augustine. Hi, my name is Chris Snow with the Florida Coastal Team, and my team and I, we get calls, emails, and text messages every day from folks just like you looking for help making that move to the Jacksonville, St. Augustine area, and we absolutely love it. So reach out, give us a call, send us a text, give us an email. If you want to do a Zoom call, click on the link below. All of our contact information is there. So whether you're looking at making that move in the next few hours or the next few months, just reach out to us and we would love to help you make that smooth move here to the Jacksonville, St. Augustine area. So as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of living in St. Augustine, Florida. So I'm going to give you a brief background about how I came to St. Augustine. I've actually lived here for almost 18 years. We moved here end of 2004, beginning of 2005. And my wife and I were living on another side of town. We came in, we just absolutely loved the city. And I'll give you some of the pros of why I moved here, and then we'll go through some of the cons of what customers have relayed back to me, what they like about the city, what they don't like about the city, and we're going to get into that right now. The pros of St. Augustine. Now, a little bit of background on St. Augustine. Now, it is one of the fastest growing counties, not only in the state of Florida, but one of the fastest growing counties and cities in the United States. And so much so that we have over 1,600 people a month that are moving to St. Augustine. And one of the number one reasons why people say they are moving, and we ask our customers this all the time, they'll start in Jacksonville, they'll end up in St. Augustine, and we're like, hey, why are you looking at Jacksonville and St. Augustine? They said, well, we want to come to St. Augustine because of all the areas in the state of Florida that we could have chosen. Schools are our number one priority. We have kids, we want to make sure that we've got that. And so number one priority for them was schools. And so what they did was they went out and they looked at like Best Places and Niche.com and some of the other publications. And those publications rate St. Augustine as the number one county in the state of Florida for schooling. So great school grades for all the schools all throughout the county. St. Augustine obviously being one of the biggest cities right here in the county itself. The second pro, why people are coming down here. Well, if you're moving from New York, you're moving from Illinois, guess what? It gets cold, right? It gets really cold up there. Well, down here, we've got 9 fantastic months of weather. And on average, during the winter months, our lowest temperatures are going to get down maybe into the 30s a little bit. We'll have some frost days. But on average, it's about 55 degrees during January and February. Those are our 2 coldest months. And the interesting thing is that we don't have long stretches of cold. We don't have 3 weeks in a row of cold. We may have 2 or 3 days where the temperatures may drop down into the 30s, but they'll come back up into the mid 50s in the afternoon. And then the next 3, 4, 5 days or week after that, we'll be in the high 50s to low 60s for a week or a week and a half at a time. So from a weather standpoint, you're going to have 9 fantastic months of weather. You've got some summer months that aren't so good, and we'll go into that and some of the cons in just a few minutes. The next thing is that when the pandemic hit and people had the ability to live anywhere they needed to, they came south, right? So they came to a lot of the southern states, Florida being one of them. And a lot of folks, when they made their way to St. Augustine, what they didn't realize that obviously the schools are good. They checked out that. But proximity to the airport for them to go and fly if they needed to travel, the proximity to the Jacksonville airport is only about 45 minutes away from St. Augustine. And it's a pretty direct shot. You don't have a ton of traffic getting up up there. So proximity to get out there, and it is an international airport, so you've got plenty of opportunities to fly internationally, but plenty of other flights that are going pretty much anywhere that you want to go. All hours of the day, starting at about 5:30 in the morning, shutting off at about 11 o'clock at night. So anywhere you want to get to, Jacksonville International Airport, great place, easy to get in and out of. So again, great pro for St. Augustine and the location for where we're at with the airport. The next thing, another pro, is if you are a history buff, you will absolutely love St. Augustine. You could not go to a better place and get more engrossed in history. Most people don't know this, but St. Augustine is the oldest continuous settled city in the United States. So when we look at people that are coming here, they'll be walking down the streets that, people 1500s, 1600s, when they first settled here, first came in, and you're walking on those same streets, and you're looking at some of the old buildings that were built in the late 1600s. And so there's just history and charm all around town. And the downtown area of St. Augustine is so vibrant with just little mom and pop shops, great restaurants and eateries. So if you're a foodie, they're just a great restaurant scene. And again, goes into one of our other pros and our pros for St. Augustine. Great food, great live music that you can just sit out, have a great meal, get a glass of wine. You've got, again, great local artists that are coming in, great musicians, and just the atmosphere downtown, second to none. And you'll just have a lot of fun just taking the family downtown, going downtown by yourself, and just walking up and down the historic streets. You're going to absolutely love it. As I noted that, our downtown, there's one street in particular that a lot of the businesses are located off of, and that's St. George Street. And so just all kinds of little mom and pop shops and boutiques and, anything that you would want to find in a little town, you're going to find that right there on St. George Street. And like I say, if you want to go down, go hungry, because there are plenty of opportunities for restaurants. And probably one of the things that we are known best for right around that area is going to be not only our seafood, but just the different flavors that you can do it. We've got folks that like to mix in the Cajun flavors, some that like to mix in more of the Caribbean styles. So you're going to find all kinds of different food types down there. And if you go, you're not going to come back hungry. Now, another pro, okay, if you like being outdoors, you can be outdoors year-round here. And again, some of the summer months it gets a little bit hotter, but you can still do plenty of things outdoor. Just got to stay hydrated, right? But for the most part, 9 months of the year, you're going to be able to do anything that you want. Now, it's almost Christmas time. We're a couple weeks away from Christmas right here. I'm wearing shorts. I could be in a t-shirt, and this afternoon, I could end up jumping in the pool. That's how warm it is right now. So 9 months out of the year, you're going to be able to do anything that you want. You're going to be able to go golfing, walking, hiking, biking, getting out on paddle boats, getting out on the kayak. If you like boating, you're going to be able to do that. 9 months of the year, you're going to be pretty much anything that you want to do without any limitations. So if you're an outdoors person, you're going to be able to do that. Now, speaking of the outdoors, we have 42 miles of beaches up and down the coast of St. Augustine. So plenty of opportunities to get out there, go just, fishing on the beach. You can go out to the piers, do pier fishing. If you like going surfing, plenty of opportunities to surf. If you just want to go get a nice suntan, plenty of chances for you to get out there, and you'll have plenty of Sundays here in St. Augustine. The other thing is, if you like getting on the boat, we have two amazing waterways that most of the boaters like to spend their time on. One is the St. Johns River. The second is the Intracoastal Waterway. So much so that there's a whole boating life where you can go up and down those two waterways. There are restaurants based off of there. Pretty much anything that you want, to go and do along there. You can go park at some of the marinas. You can park downtown and get out and go explore the city without having to drive downtown. So if you're a boater, you're going to absolutely love St. Augustine. Another thing, if you are a golfer, you will absolutely love the golf courses that are here. We're actually home of the Players Championship. That's right there at TPC Sawgrass. One of the most iconic holes in all of golf is the 17th green, the Island Green, there at the TPC at Sawgrass. But we have all sorts of other local courses, private courses, semi-private courses, public courses for people to go out and then really enjoy the golf scene here. Next pro, a lot of people move to Florida because we have no state income tax. So they're moving from high tax states. They come down here. They see that our tax base is very, very low. not only from an income standpoint, but our property taxes are pretty low comparatively when you compare it to some of the other areas when people are moving from, like I say, New York and New Jersey and Illinois and California. They see here and they go, wow, your property taxes are really low. And we still offer great services, even though our property tax base is a little bit lower than what you're going to find in other areas. Our cost of living is also very, very affordable. Taxes go into that. But just living in and around the St. Augustine area, you'll find that going to a restaurant, going to the shops and stuff like that, very affordable to live here. And so if you're moving from an area that's high tax and a very high cost of living, you're going to really enjoy making that move and getting a chance to save quite a bit of money each month. One of my favorite places to go and a great pro for St. Augustine is, again, live music. Now, we have local artists that perform at different locations around the city, but if you want some of the bigger artists, they are going to actually come to the St. Augustine Amphitheater, which is a big open-door outdoor theater. It's under shade, but it's again, big open-air concept. So pretty much most of the year, you're going to have a nice breeze that's flowing through there, and you're going to really enjoy outdoor music and just have a great atmosphere that's there. There's always big artists that are coming through there and doing a more intimate show than at some of the bigger locations and bigger venues around the state. Now, one of my favorite things that I love to do is it's the sports scene here in Jacksonville and St. Augustine. And I keep saying Jacksonville because St. Augustine is a little bedroom community just south of Jacksonville. So in order to take part in a lot of the sporting events that are going on, we just have to go about 25 minutes, 30 minutes north to downtown Jacksonville. And there in downtown Jacksonville, you've got an NFL franchise with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We have a minor league baseball team with the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. We have an arena football team with the Jacksonville Sharks. We've got minor league hockey with the Jacksonville Icemen. You've got professional golf that comes to the TPC with the Players Championship. And then you also have a minor league basketball team with the Jacksonville Giants. So it doesn't matter really what type of sports you like, they're going to be there. And if you're a big tennis fan, they still run the Bausch & Lomb just up in Amelia Island. So you've got an opportunity to go see professional tennis as well. Speaking of Jacksonville, again, Jacksonville is only about a 25, 30-minute ride, and some of your major shopping, if you want to get away from the mom and pops and you want to go to the Macy's and the Dillards and the Nordstroms and the Apple Store, Restoration Hardware, some of those bigger name brand retailers, you just take a 25, 30-minute commute up into Jacksonville. Traffic doesn't too bad to get up there. And once you're there, it doesn't take you very long to get up to the stores, get what you need to, and come back home. And then you don't have to sit in all the traffic or be in the traffic every single day. Most people are going up there maybe once a week, maybe twice a month. And so, you're going to find it very easy to get up there and have some great opportunities for shopping right there in the Jacksonville area. I was talking with one of my customers the other day, and they say, I absolutely love St. Augustine because it's so centrally located. And I'm like, well, wait a second, there's an ocean there, so we're on the East Coast. We're not in the center of the state. And I'm like, hey, help me understand that. I said, well, for where we like to go, we're about 2.5 hours and maybe 3 hours at the most from some great destinations. And so to get to Orlando, it's about a 2-hour drive. So if you want to go take part in what's going on there in the with all the recreation parks with Disney and Universal and stuff like that, you've got that. It's about 3 hours over to Tampa. So if you want to get out on the Gulf Coast, you can certainly do that. And then if you want to take a day trip up to Amelia Island, it's only about a 45-minute hour drive up to Amelia Island. And then if you go a little bit further north, it's only about 2 hours to Savannah, 3 hours to Charleston. And if you go a little bit further south and you want to go to like Cape Canaveral, the Kennedy Space Center, it's only about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive just south. So very easily to get in and out of places, some of those other cool destinations, and you can make those day trips. You don't have to make those overnight trips. And the last thing that we are going to go through, the pro, is that when people think St. Augustine, if they think, well, yeah, it's an old city, do they have, I don't want to live in an old home. There are tons and tons of new construction. St. Augustine is a big city inside of the county of St. John's. And there are lots of green space, lots of opportunities, and there's so many builders are building and trying to keep up with the demand. And so there are new neighborhoods that are popping up on a regular basis. So if you're like, hey, I want to move, but I do not want to be in an old home. I don't want to have to deal with historic stuff. I don't want to have to deal with fixing stuff. I just want to move into new construction. There are tons and tons of new construction there in St. Augustine. So hopefully I've given you some great pros. Now I'm going to have to give you the cons, because it doesn't matter where you live, there's always going to be something that people don't like, right? So we're going to jump right into the cons. The first con that I can think of is, and I said it a little bit earlier, is it gets hot here. And when I say hot, it gets hot. You know, the end of July, all of August, through the middle part of September, lots of heat, lots of humidity. If you're going to do something, you can go out, do it. Just do it early in the morning, but you're going to get sweaty. You know, you're going to come home. It's going to be, you're going to be hot and sweaty most of the day. But if you really don't like hot weather, it's only there for about 2.5 months, 3 months. During the summer, if you want to go up to the Northeast, and I've done that a couple times, and take a few weeks and get out of the hot, you can certainly do that. But you get to come back to 9 months of incredible weather when you do come back. So it does get hot. That is a con. We do have air conditioning down here, so every place that you go into is going to be climate controlled. Second thing is, because we are a tourist city, okay, some people don't like being around tourists, right? They don't want to be in a tourist city. So we are a tourist city. It's pretty consistent. It's one of the major ways that our economy runs here in St. Augustine is through tourism. And with that is traffic. It is hard from a traffic standpoint. We do have some backups, not only, at certain parts of the day, but typically throughout the day, because people are coming, they're spending the whole afternoon and they're driving around town. And so you're going to find that it's going to be from a traffic standpoint, not as easy. Second part with that, because again, there are a lot of people coming in, that parking can get a little bit dicey. Now, let me go back to the traffic part of it. I thought our traffic was bad. If you wanted to go 2 or 3 or 4 miles within the city, it might take you 20, 25 minutes, depending on what's going on with traffic that day. But I kind of got brought back to reality. I drove up to Orlando, or down to Orlando one day, and then the next week I was in Atlanta, and I was driving in that traffic. And oh my goodness, those people are waiting hours upon hours, not going anywhere. So my little 20, 25 minute backup in traffic, I kind of looked at that and said, yeah, it's a con, but it's not as bad as it could be. It's definitely worse in other areas. So let me jump back to the second part of that comes with the tourism, that comes with the traffic, is that sometimes getting into St. Augustine to park can be very difficult. Now, the cool thing is that if you are a local resident and you move to St. Augustine, you can go down and get a parking pass that allows you to park in one of the garages at a fraction of the cost. It's like $1 or $2 to park in the parking garage. And there's always parking available in there. And it's pretty centrally located, so you can still walk the city and not feel like you're having to walk a long ways away. The other thing is they do have park and ride. So if you want to park outside the city, ride in through Uber or get on one of the trolleys, you can certainly do that and make your way around town that way. Next con is that because so many people are moving here to St. Augustine, our housing prices have continued to go up. And especially during the pandemic, when there wasn't a whole lot of inventory, prices really shot up. Now, we've always been a little bit more expensive than our sister areas right around here, some of the other communities like Jacksonville and Orange Park and Palm Coast. We've always been a little bit higher on average. And so some folks, if they're very, very sensitive to the pricing on their house, they definitely need to make sure that look at where they're at. Now, we do have all sorts of price points that cover the entire gamut here in St. Augustine. It's just we may not have as much inventory in the lower price points as we do in those mid-range price points. Let's face it, another con. We are a tourist city, but we are a very sleepy city. So when it comes to nightlife, you're not going to find a huge nightlife. Most of our restaurants are going to stay open till about 9 o'clock. The bars will stay open a little bit longer, but St. Augustine isn't the place that you're going to go to for nightlife. If you really want that, you're going to be going a little bit further south down into, Palm Beach, West Palm, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. But if you want, quiet nights and just have an opportunity to go and just enjoy some great scenery, some great food, Jacksonville's the place. But if you're looking for that, heavy duty nightlife, you're not going to find that here in St. Augustine. 2 more cons that I want to go through. The first one, we do have critters here. Okay, so we have some wildlife here that is not, a lot of people coming from up north don't really see a ton of snakes, and they don't see alligators, and the bugs aren't really as bad as maybe what we have here. So we do have alligators, and my rule of thumb is we have lots of what they call retention areas, draining ponds, lakes. We have all sorts of standing bodies of water rule of thumb is if you see a standing body of water, there's a pretty good chance that there is going to be an alligator in there. As long as you don't jump in that body of water and go looking for them, they're not going to come looking for you. So alligators, they want to kind of mind their own business. They're like the snakes. They want to mind their own business. They want you to mind theirs. You let them stay in their habitat, we stay in ours, and you don't really have to worry too much about the snakes and the alligators. When it comes to the bugs, we have great pest control services that can help mitigate the bugs, but we do have them. There are lots of mosquitoes here. Usually about 2 months of the year they get really bad. And then there is one bug that comes out twice a year, and it's called a love bug. And they don't bite, they don't do anything, they just are kind of nasty. They hit your windshield and you have to wash your windshield on a regular basis, but they only last for about 2 weeks, and then they're gone. They get killed off, they get smushed. So those are the bugs, and just make sure you got a good pest control company. They'll mitigate all the other ones. And the last con, okay, I said I'm here in St. Augustine and it's almost Christmas time and I'm wearing shorts and a short sleeve shirt. So if you like Christmas to be white and have snow, you're not going to get it in St. Augustine. I'm sorry. So if you're looking for that white Christmas, you're going to have to travel away and then come back. And then again, you still have 12 really good months or 11 and a half months of no snow that you have to worry about shoveling or anything like that. So last snow here happened around 1986. I was a young guy. I remember going out. It was my first time seeing sort of snow, but that's the last time. Haven't really seen it since, and don't really anticipate seeing it anytime in the near future. But that's the last con. I hope you found this video helpful with the pros and cons and why you would want to move to St. Augustine, and really why you wouldn't want to move to St. Augustine. So this way, now you know a little bit better, and we're going to be doing another video that'll give you a map tour of St. Augustine, where things are located. So be on the lookout for our next video, which will be the map tour of St. Augustine. Get a chance to walk around, do that. And really, if you're, again, looking at making that move in the next few hours, the next few weeks, the next few months, please give us a call, send us a text, give us a quick email, or book a time right on my Zoom link, and we can jump on a call and just go through and really help identify what areas of town that you would be most interested in. Again, Chris Snow here with the Florida Coastal Team. Love to see you guys here in St. Augustine and be able to call you neighbor. God bless, guys. Have a good one.